Okay. Your Excellencies, senior government officials in attendance from the federal, state, and even local governments, the founder of Sokoto startup, Dr. Abubakar Umar Muhammad, our young innovators, ladies and gentlemen of the press, all other protocols duly and respectfully observed. Good morning to all of you, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, meaning may Allah's peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you. Permit me to begin by thanking our Creator Allah for guiding some of us, like the founder and CEO of Sokoto startup, Dr. Abubakar Umar Muhammad, and his team, for coming up with this initiative. This initiative is supposed to be found in each and every state of northern Nigeria, so that our young innovators with creativity will be supported, will also be mentored in order to come up with their creative ideas that will address complex problems through critical thinking, among others. So the effort of the founders of Sokoto Startup is highly commendable, and I pray to the Almighty to put this reward in the scale of their good deeds. Furthermore, the theme is also very encouraging, because the theme speaks on the role of startup and micro, small, and medium enterprises in supporting Nigeria's digital economy. Firstly, when it comes to, there are three key words in this theme. Number one is startups. Number two is small, medium enterprises, or what we call in Nigeria micro, small, and medium enterprises. Number 3 is digital economy. When you look at the first part of the topic or the theme, which is a startup. Startup is just about coming up with creative idea, establishing a company which is at the initial stages of its implementation. Startup is about making an attempt to add value to the society by coming up with a creative idea that will solve a certain problem. When that idea is at the initial stage, it falls under startups. When it grows up and reach a situation of a market value of a minimum of 1 billion USD, then it becomes a unicorn. So startup is a company at the initial stage or at the initial stages of its development. So any person who comes up with an idea that will add value to a society, if that idea is implemented, then we can call it a startup. So we have thousands of startups in Nigeria, and as at the end of December 2022, we have 5 unicorns in Nigeria, or 5 unicorns that originated from Nigeria. They originated from Nigeria, 5. And in the whole of Africa as a continent, we have a minimum of 7, maximum of 8. But 5 of them originated from Nigeria. And interestingly, all the 5 that originated from in Nigeria, they reached the level of unicorn during the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, the last administration, all of them. Prior to his administration, there was no single unicorn in Nigeria. However, from the beginning of his administration, particularly the second tenure before he exited office in May 2023, we produced 5 startups that originated from Nigeria. So this is to show to us, and we produce 5 unicorns, F1. 5 unicorns in Nigeria, meaning each one has a market value, a minimum of 1 billion USD. So any startup that grows up to reach a market value of 1 billion USD, then that startup becomes a unicorn. So when it comes to startup, all over Nigeria, all over the country, we have so many startups. You have them in Kano, in Sokoto, you have them in Kebbi, in Gombe, you have them in Borno, Katsina, you have them in Kaduna, Jigawa, you have them in Adamawa, Taraba, you have many in Bauchi, Zamfara, among others. This initiative of Sokoto Startup or Startup Sokoto is an idea that will support our startups and mentor them, because mentorship is key to the success of each and every startup. The second part of the topic is about small and medium enterprises, or in Nigeria, we usually coin it as micro, small, and medium enterprises. Micro, small, and medium enterprises is very important because of the fact that if you look at our economy in Nigeria, that economy has significantly been dominated by micro, small, and medium enterprises, either in ICT, either in finance, either in industry, either in e-commerce. You will discover that the significant part of our businesses in Nigeria, they fall under micro, small, and medium enterprises. According to an investigation conducted by Smedan, their final report in 2021 indicated that 96% of our entire businesses in Nigeria falls under micro, small, and medium enterprises. So by implication, you may wish to say that 96% of our businesses in Nigeria are within this 96%. Only 4% are outside micro, small, and medium enterprises. Furthermore, micro, small, and medium enterprises, according to that investigation conducted by Smedan, as at 2021, they contribute approximately 46% to our gross domestic product. Almost 50% of our GDP being contributed by micro, small, and medium enterprises. It is because of this, any effort to support and address the challenges being confronted by micro, small, and medium enterprises, it is an interesting effort that will definitely drive our businesses in Nigeria to success. Why? Because 96% of our businesses are within micro, small, and medium enterprises, while 46% approximately of our GDP, gross domestic product, is being contributed by the micro, small, and medium enterprises. Furthermore, the last part of the topic is about digital economy. Digital economy, as we can also recall, that it was institutionalized in Nigeria on the 17 October 2019, 17 October 2019, at the time that His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari approved our request to establish the pioneer, the first ever Ministry of Digital Economy in Nigeria, and he did so. Digital economy is all about the deployment of ICT in order to ensure that we automate, we computerize, and at the same time, we include ICT to other businesses so that the businesses can be conducted online among others. They can be automated. So any business where ICT is involved in order to add value or to improve economy, then that business falls under digital economy. That business falls under digital economy. So the entire business activities in ICT sector plus the ICT opportunities in other sectors, both of them combined gives you what is called digital economy. The entire economic activities in ICT on one hand, and also the ICT activities in other sectors. When you marry both of them together, you reconcile them, they produce what we call digital economy. When we look at the topic itself, the role of startups and the micro, small, and medium enterprises in Nigeria's digital economy, one may wish to say that at the moment, micro, small, and medium enterprises and startups play the significant role of building our digital economy in Nigeria as a country. And particularly in 2022, during the period of the last administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, to be precise, on 19 October 2022, 19 October 2022, His Excellency President Buhari signed the Nigeria Startup Act into law. It is a legislative document that I champion its production in Nigeria. I champion its development in Nigeria. In this document, Nigeria Startup Act 2022, you will discover there are many provisions to support our startup in the country. Take, for instance, in the Nigeria Startup Act of 2022, there is a provision for 10 billion naira annually to support our young innovators. And this is one aspect that I want to encourage our young innovators to make use of it. There is a provision of a minimum of 10 billion naira each and every year. That money is going to be provided for our young innovators. Sometimes, most of our people in the North do not know about these opportunities, do not give it the attention it requires. So I strongly encourage Sokoto startup and other startups all over the country, particularly in states where there is lack of awareness about these opportunities being provided by government, to wake up immediately and ensure that we create the awareness, we encourage our younger ones, our young innovators to apply and make sure they get access to it. So each and every year, government will provide a minimum of 10 billion naira to support our startups. In that law, Nigeria Startup Act 2022, there is also a provision of intellectual property. And also there is a provision for the establishment of the Presidential Council on Digital Innovation and Entrepreneurship. That council was inaugurated by His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari before he left office. So there is a provision in that where there is a presidential council. The council is being chaired by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That council will be sitting from time to time to listen to the challenges being confronted by our young innovators, and there and then the President of Nigeria will give directives immediately for the implementation and also addressing the challenges that are being confronted. So there are so many provisions. I want to make use of this opportunity to plead with our young innovators to go online and download the Nigeria Startup Act 2022, read it carefully, and ensure that you understand all the provisions. There are 1,001 opportunities therein. So let us ensure that we equip ourselves, and at the same time, we understand the provisions therein, make sure that we follow each and everyone, apply to government to get that support. And finally, I want to also encourage us, and particularly our young innovators, that in Nigeria, particularly in northern Nigeria, there is need for us to be establishing a community of ICT experts, a community that will accommodate our young innovators, a community of people that are financially okay, that are willing to invest on one hand and they are willing to support on the other, to ensure that we come up with something like Silicon Valley in southern San Francisco in the United States of America. This is indeed an excellent idea. Silicon Valley was established in early 70s. At that time, it was not a developed community. But today, because of the coming together of innovators, investors, government willing to provide good policies that will provide the enabling environment, if Silicon Valley were to be a country today, it will be the country with the highest GDP per capita. It will have the highest GDP per head, because as at 2020, the country with the highest GDP per head, according to the International Monetary Fund, IMF, was Luxembourg. The GDP per head in Luxembourg was 106,000 USD. At that year, if Silicon Valley were to be a country, then definitely the GDP per head of Silicon Valley will be up to 128,000 USD. So by implication, if Silicon Valley were to be a country, it will be the highest GDP per head. Why? Because of the effort of stakeholders coming together to provide the enabling environment for young innovators to come up with their creative ideas, implement them through critical thinking in order to address complex problems. That is why you will discover today most of the ICT device, most of the ICT products that we enjoy, they either originate from Silicon Valley or Shenzhen in China. These are the two cities that are providing the enabling environment for innovators. And this is indeed very encouraging. So I strongly encourage in each and every community, let the ICT experts come together, bring young innovators under their mentorship, identify investors, people that are willing to invest, people that are willing to support. Keep in touch with government at state and federal level and address the challenges of businesses in our community. Try to see how we can provide an enabling environment. With this, we will be able to copy places like Silicon Valley. Furthermore, I strongly also advise our young innovators that if you come up with a startup, the trip is not an easy one. It is indeed a very hard journey. You have to persevere. You have to be very determined. You have to display your doggedness. You have to be to show that you are consistent. You have to also show that you are steadfast. It's not an easy trip that you can do it smoothly. There are many challenges in doing that. That is why you have to ensure that failure for your first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year will not discourage you. And this is one of the mantra they promote in Silicon Valley, where they teach their innovators to know that failure is not opposite to success, but failure is the foundation of success. Because usually we consider failure to be as a negative word. But in the startup world, failure is not a negative word, but rather failure is to be considered as the foundation of success, not the opposite of success. That is why in Silicon Valley, in mentoring their younger ones, they organize annual conference where they call it Failure Conference. The abbreviation of it is called FailCon. And they have a mantra where they call it fail fast, fail often. Can you hear me? Fail fast, fail often. They teach innovators that you will continue to fail, to fail, to fail. At the end, you will be successful. That failure you are encountering at the initial stage is not in any way opposite to success, but rather that failure is building the foundation of your success in the future. When Jeffrey Bezos came up with the idea of Amazon in 1994, he started in the garage of their family. He failed that year. He failed in 1995, 96, 97, 98, 2000, 2001, 2003. Only around at the end of 2004, he made the first profit. 2004. By 2017, within 13 years, he became the richest person in the world. This is to show to us that the initial failure he encountered without making any profit was the actual foundation that led him to the success of becoming the richest person in the world. So when we are building our startup, we should not in any way consider failure as something that is negative or that is opposite to success, but rather we must consider failure as building a strong foundation that will guide us to success. With this, if we accommodate that and our experts in ICT are willing to mentor the younger ones and our businessmen are willing to invest, government is also willing to provide the enabling environment, I strongly believe we don't have problem of talent in Nigeria. We have young, talented innovators that can make us proud. And I believe in the next few years, another Jeffrey Bezos could emerge from Nigeria. Another Mark Zuckerberg will also come up from Nigeria. When it comes to talent, it is everywhere. We have talent in school, we have talent outside schools. That is what motivated me to write a book entitled Skills Rather Than Just Degrees. I am not in any way undermining degrees, as I always say, because I acquired many. I have MSc, Oral Mite, BTech, MSc, MBA, PhD, all of them in computer-related courses. And I attended the best universities in the world. I attended Cambridge, I attended Harvard University, I attended University of Oxford, I attended IMT and IMD, I attended the best institutions in the world. But what I'm trying to show in that book, that certificate today is not sufficient. we have to promote skills development. Secondly, you should all know that if you acquire a certificate, that certificate is not the target. Certificate is just a validation of the education, knowledge, training, and skills you obtain while on campus. It's just a validation. In a situation where the certificate fails to validate anything, then the aim of acquiring that certificate has been deleted completely. So we have to agree that certificate is not the target, but actually is just an evidence that we have been trained. When that training is empty, then the certificate is empty. Certificate could give you a job, but certificate cannot do the job. Only your skill can do the job. Many people are being employed with certificate. When they are employed and they are given a responsibility, they will fail to deliver. It is because of this we should all agree that skills are more important than acquiring a certificate. But if we can have both of them, we have certificate on one hand, we have certificates on one hand and skills on the other. To me, that is the best. To have both certificates and skills. But if it is only one, then skills are more important than certificates. There is no doubt about this. So we have to ensure that even those that are outside school, that have creative ideas, let us try to mentor them under Startup Sokoto. This is indeed very important because there is talent in school and there is also talent outside school. It is our responsibility to harness talent both in school and outside schools. With these few words, I don't want to disturb you so much. Permit me to shut down my presentation here as the keynote speaker and clear the screen while praying to the Almighty Allah to make Sokoto Startup very successful. Thank you very much for listening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Please permit me to recognize the presence of MD Brilliant Footstep International Academy, the Vice Chancellor of iconic Open University.